Today we're looking at a Sega Genesis game, Sonic the Hedgehog, not for resale edition. I believe these were the ones that were bundled with the console back in the day. Tested it out, doesn't work at all. Pins, they don't look terrible. But on the back here I was noticing there is definitely something weird going on here, maybe some rust almost. So yeah, definitely need to pop this one open. Grab our carpal tunnel saver. Alright. Yeah, definitely looks like some rust on here. Throw these off into the organization bin. And let's pop it off and see if there's anything obvious. Okay, nothing too bad. Nothing too crazy. Capacitor and a resistor looks like. The ROM chip. Maybe the pins might be a little dirty. Okay. No corrosion, all the vias look good. Pins, will have to see if those are the problem. Get our Wyman glass top stove, glass cooktop cleaner and polisher. Put a little on the Q-tip and go to rubbing the pins. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, a little discoloration, not horrible. I've definitely seen worse, but some darker color on there. Picking up that dirt and grime and grease. Right. Let's go ahead and get the back and we'll just clean it up as we go. A little bit more. Cleaner. And oh yeah. Then I like to go over with some 91% isopropyl alcohol. Okay, pretty good right now. Really shiny, really effective. And there we go. That's looking a lot better. Okay, now reverse the polarity. Pop this right here. Still some rust on these, but that's okay. I don't think it's really hurting anything, just like me. Reverse the polarity again. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, and there we go. Now let's pop this into the Sega Genesis and see if it is working now. Okay, pop it right back in there, switch the power on, and anything. Nothing really. Okay. Alright, so the cleaning of the pins did not work. So we're gonna have to take it apart again and take a look at the internals a little bit better. Alright, let's give this a quick, thorough examination. Do we see anything that looks funky? I don't see any corrosion. No corrosion at all. Could we have a loose joint? Maybe. Possibly. Could the capacitor have failed? Maybe. Nothing obvious. Let's go ahead and grab the multimeter. Grab our handy dandy multimeter, our Everstart multimeter. Plug the black into COM and plug the red into the other one. Let's check for continuity first. Let's rule out any possible issues with this CPU not getting anything towards it. Let's see right here. We're in continuity mode, so it should beep. Okay. So this chip is making it to this pin, and gave myself a hand cramp, but all of the pins are making continuity to the other pins. So I am kind of wondering if it is the ROM chip at this point. I heard that these, I think they're called mask ROM chips, they have diodes in them that go wonky. And you're supposed to use a multimeter with the diode mode and figure out which one's out of spec, and then solder a 1 ohm capacitor, which I actually bought a pack of. And I bought a pack of in preparation for such an event. However, my multimeter, unless I'm absolutely crazy, does not have a diode meter. It's got resistance / continuity, and that's about it, aside from some voltage readings. I got this at Walmart, and it's more of an automotive multimeter, so I guess I'm gonna have to figure out if I can afford a proper multimeter and go from there. Maybe check the capacitor, but I really doubt that's gonna be the issue. I do have an ESR meter, which I'm not 100% sure how to use, but I mean, I suppose we could try learning that real quick. You know, what's the harm? Maybe you guys can figure it out with me. So we got our red in here, and then the black goes in here. If all the dust gets knocked off. Obviously, I've used this a lot. All right, so we're looking for what? So this is a 25 volt 47 UF. Now on this, it's got a little pane of information here. So we got what? 47? Yes. So 47 is what we have, and we have a 25 volt. So 47. So 1.2. Is that good then? So we're looking for a 1.2. Well, let's see. Let's go ahead and just short the capacitor out. I doubt it. We're gonna need to do this, but you know what? Hey, let's do it anyway. Let's do it the way we're supposed to do it. And we've shorted the capacitor out, I think. Positive here. Okay, that's not really working. Let's bend this pin up just so we can get our meter on there a little bit easier. All right. There we go. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Buffooning myself already. All right, so we need to turn the meter on. Okay. So then we need to take our pins or our reader, whatever you want to call these things, zero it out. Zero it out. There we go. There we go. Now we can take these off. And let's go ahead and do this. Put that there. And put this here. So it's saying reference, I'm assuming reference for 25 volt E cap good if capacitor is less than 200 UF. Is that, what's UF? I forgot what UF is. All right, well, what if we reverse these leads? Is that stupid? Okay, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. So, what is this? What is this? Is UF 47 UF? So it's less than 200. So this capacitor is good, I think. We'll just assume we did that correctly. So the capacitor is good. I don't even know what the capacitor is used for. Some sort of voltage smoothing or something. I have no idea. I don't claim to be technically savvy, just technically ambitious. So this is gonna have to be put on the back burner. I'm gonna have to look at Amazon or somewhere, see if I can find a multimeter with diode, unless I have a backup, which I doubt. Okay, so apparently I am just ignorant. And after watching a couple of videos on diode mode, this is diode mode. Okay, well, let's continue, shall we? And this is exactly why we are trying to repair stuff, just to learn and improve. Now, I know that the orientation of the probes, I believe, matters. So, let's see. I know we need it on ground, which I believe this is ground, I think. So let's see. Go for this top pin. Overload. Okay, so let's switch the probes just to see if that's an issue. Okay, 538. Next pin. 687. Okay, next pin. Okay, so I had a look on mymatevince.com YouTube video and StezFix. I'm not really sure what his YouTube name is, but they had some really good information in conjunction with a random commenter called Rodrigo Lalamas. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. But he was saying that the 8th pin here on the facing this way, it can read open line or it can read something really high. For mymatevince.com, mymatevince, it was reading open line. For some other people, it was reading like 1.2 volts or something like that. But for us, if we put, now we got ground here, we also have ground here, I believe, and we also have ground on, was it the resistor as well, up here? But if we go to ground, which is, we can also go to ground here, flip that up a little bit, so we can add some pressure, put the red on there, and then black on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This should be open line? Yes. OL, open line. So, if it's reading open line on that pin there, it should be that pin that's causing the issue. Now, what we can do is grab a resistor here from this pack. Just got these from Amazon. And it doesn't matter the orientation, there's no polarity. So what we can do is solder it to the 8th chip on here, and then we can either bring it down to the ground chip down at the bottom, or we could go across. I think this chip over here is also ground. So I might mark what's ground and the pin we need with a couple markers. So let's go and do that real quick. So right up here where this arrow is number 8. We have a ground here, and we also have ground here. So it just really depends on how we want it to look. We could go straight across the board, which might be kind of nice. We could also go and StezFix, he put his up here and just bent it to match the ground on the top. So now the only thing is I'm not super confident with my tools and my soldering knowledge, but we'll give it our best shot. So hopefully this doesn't go horribly wrong, and hopefully I can actually record the microscope and get a good view of it. We shall soon see. Okay, we're under the microscope now. I don't know why, but my microscope gives a yellow tint every once in a while. So the green is a little yellowed. I don't know why. First we'll put some flux down and then try to tack the resistor on, which is pretty fiddly. After some struggling, managed to get it in place. I'm at it with a about 350 degrees Celsius soldering iron, and about 650 Fahrenheit. The solder was really not working out well here. I'm not sure exactly what I was doing wrong. It may have been the tip. I also kicked the temperature up a little bit more later on, just to make sure the solder was flowing. Eventually, with some very close solder work to my hand or my finger there, it got tacked on. Also, ground, the mark I made for ground is pretty much all but gone. But I figured out which one it was. It was that one. Right in the center. Little black smudge. Also, the soldering tip that I was using was not keeping the solder on it. So I'm not sure what the problem was. It was just none of the solder was adhering to it at all. Which is probably one of the problems it had. I figured if I started heating the solder joint up first, add a little bit of leaded solder to the unleaded, it might make it a little easier to tack the resistor in. Realized also I should have added a little more flux. Also, I am not sure if I cleaned that little solder drip up or not. Which is really bothering me now. Hindsight. I think I did, but I don't think I recorded it. Probably could have bent the resistor leg a little bit to the left more. It might help too. Also, I really don't think this tip was getting right down to the pad. Wanted to add a little bit more solder, just to make sure it was getting a good connection. Went ahead and trimmed off the legs, and since I'm a little bit persnickety, I went again freshen up the solder a little bit more, which I also switched up the tip right here. Yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of solder on it already. Now, the peaks on the solder joint should be because there's not enough flux, which I was realizing. Also, I got a bridge here between these two pins, and that also should be the flux. I need more flux, which I do add here. Probably added a little bit too much flux. I might need one of those flux pins. Probably be a little easier to use. And it almost right here I removed the bridge and then I came back and it came back again. But now the bridge is gone and the connection looks pretty good. And I touched it up just a little bit. I probably should not have touched it up so many times, but from the angle it looked a little like high in the middle, so I was like just really making sure it was soldered in there good. Ideally, you would not want to add this much heat, which, you know, in hindsight, again, it's a little hairy that it did so much heat, but that it should be fine. After fussing with it, I think this is pretty good. Close enough for government work, I suppose. Let's check it out. Let's see if it works. Let's go and pop it in. And moment of truth. Yes! Sega! All right. It worked! Grab the controller. Green Hill Zone 1. Wow. Awesome. Very cool. I can't believe we got it to work. That's awesome. It's working perfectly fine now. Awesome. Very cool. Glory to God. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Very cool. Well, thank you for watching.